Because then you get some funding, and you don't want to be way behind. Some of the other companies that maybe get a head start because they're kind of, they're in on the ground floor of a startup. And that's kind of the difference. So, yeah, but it is a huge game.
Please rise for Ireland national anthem.
final game of the night on the third day of the knockout round will decide 7th place besides the Netherlands at 4-2, taking on Ireland out of Group A at 2-5. Ireland in a familiar green on green unis, white on orange for the Dutch. Cleo Kerr speeds ahead off the draw control, down to Caroline Peters, and the save is made down low to start things with a foul. A track meet start as Frida Berendsen made the start for the Netherlands, and we'll likely see Amaris Braansma, depending on how the game goes, but Braansma in the second half with Dutch coach Adam Gray splitting his goalies throughout the duration of the tournament. The Dutch a chance, though, to pick up 7th place in a fine showing. They lost last night to Germany. They had real opportunities out shooting the Germans, but they fell 8-7. Ireland is 2-5. But you look at the Irish schedule, a couple of early deficits cost them, close losses during group play to Israel, and then a close loss by 2 goals to the Czech Republic. And Ireland could have flipped the script and been playing potentially in a semifinal tomorrow night. But that's the way it goes, and both teams hope to finish out well.
Yeah, Ireland's going to need to, again, we talked last game with Scotland, putting a stamp on things. Same thing with Ireland. You know, this is a potential big-time game for them because they have to win.
Rachel Ward fires.
Good pressure, good pressure.
As both teams want to finish out on a real high note, they'll both still be here tomorrow to watch, at the minimum, the 3rd place in the gold medal game. This is Peters missing over the top, as well as enjoying a day off, get some treatment in the morning, and start the recovery process of this grinding tournament. And Dutch coach Adam Gray, he wants this team to take another step in battling a Group A team, and not just physically. We saw they can play physically, but even mentally believing that they can be there, not beating themselves.
How many times have we seen that? You know, whenever we say the words unforced errors, I believe that that's beating yourself.
And just the belief that you belong on the same field with the same kind of aggression that you play with against a Group B team than you do Group A. Robin Morris on the wing for Ireland. And Morris shoots, and this is wide of Cage and Frida Berendsen. Noni Anderson for Ireland does start. She's on the field, and she is just a couple days after a left leg or a left hip injury suffered late in the final minutes against the Czech Republic. Anderson turned it on for stretches yesterday against Scotland. Here is Cleo Kerr knifing her way through. So Kerr starts the scoring with an unassisted tally.
It's like she slithers through the defense and nobody touches her. You know, the speed going, I say downhill towards the cage because it's a common term that we use, downhill towards the cage. And if the Netherlands defenders are only going to use their sticks to play defense, then the Irish attackers are going to continue going to cage.
13th goal for Cleo Kerr. Kerr again, draw control. Here comes the trail check, but she gets rid of it. Off it went down low, and then the extra pass could not be made by Ivana Murphy, who is a veteran of this Irish women's lacrosse program. She's on the lax board. She was at the last Euros, and this program means a lot to her. So the Dutch with their first possession, and they will continue to cycle through 4 attackers, 8 different midfielders across 2 different lines, and use their full depth. We'll restart things there. Just underway, nearly 5 minutes in. And then Tio, and she had it knocked away. Push ahead. Here's Noni Anderson, a day healthier. It sure looks like it. That's a sizzler. 2-0.
You know what it is? I think it's a new hairstyle. Noni Anderson's got a new hairstyle tonight.
Is it more aerodynamic? The shot certainly was. And Noni Anderson gets her 10th goal of this tournament. The fire that she plays with.
Bigger, faster,
pleasure.
stronger. Whew.
Kerr again, and she jumps up and gets it. Cleo Kerr. And she's had some strong games here. And she plays at Robert Morris out in Pennsylvania, still an undergrad, along with Ireland head coach Kaki Helmer, who is an assistant on Katrina Silva's staff there. Peters, that was a good rip. That one would not have counted. And Kerr going into her senior year, such a benefit for the players that are still in school, going into university play, to use this as a launching point that are still not yet in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, all the stuff that you're doing at an event like this is building on top of all of that.
Save made by Berenson. And Frida fires a line drive. That one past Tio. And among the things that hurt the Dutch yesterday against Germany, Germany threw the backer zone at them, which took the Dutch some time to adjust. As Sarah DeLandis, as she gets it outside and the shot just missed. Switch DeLandis Viborg did not get much involved against the backer zone, but Sarah has been a prolific quarterback for the Dutch here in this tournament. That threw them a little bit off before they recovered. And then some failed clears at the wrong times. So switch to Landis Viborg, back to work.
And she draws Poland tonight. This is going to be one of the biggest matchups potentially of the night, especially as she is the quarterback for the Netherlands offense.
That tells you a lot about how Kaki Helmer and her Irish team staff feel about her. Catherine Conway, the assistant, and Hillary Bowen O'Doherty, the offensive coordinator. 19-year-old Delaney Friel is the goalie for Ireland. She is the youngest starter out of the 16 nations represented here at the European Championships. So Anderson blazes ahead. She must be a quick healer.
She is like Superman quick.
And then Berenson with an interception. So we're going to call that the 5th interception by a goalie that we have tracked here during the Europeans. From a field player trying to hit somebody goal line extended or at the crease. The Dutch transition. Harriet Van Hoor. These two nations got to know each other quite well. Both stayed at the same hotel. And as Kaki Helmer described it, it's kind of like a friendly. Well, it's going to have great intensity because 7th place is on the line. Players like Anderson, Spitzen are on the field. And they're going to compete. They've had a great time knowing one another. Switch to Landis Viborg as she rolls back. And then Poulin so far has forced her into 2 difficult looks.
Yeah, I think she's got to understand her angles on the cage, and this might be a game that she has to create more and potentially not finish more. Poulin, in my opinion, is probably one of the best defenders in this tournament when it comes to the one-on-one situation.
There's Deidre McKim as she tried to tie up Kosha Hammink. And that'll get Kosha to the line. Kosha, 2 goals last night against Germany. Hamik second only to Zwitserland's Viborg in goal scoring, as right now the Dutch have not been good on target yet. Bellamy Prasad, she's the lefty in this offense for the Dutch. Zwitserland's Viborg now from the middle, now takes it in. So a much better setup on the roll for Sarah.
They're getting some really good looks on the cage. Now it's just about finishing. I also think their looks are a little bit rushed because of Ireland's heavy pressure.
So Hamik with Zwitserland's Viborg and Prasad on the attack. This is Van Dilkt. Kerr defending. Again, from the same spot, Zwitserland's Viborg will try the right-hand shot, wide of Friel. So the ISO there from the top of the arc.
Pulling on a defensive standpoint, she is so focused on her hips. When she makes initial contact on Sarah, she maintains that contact. That is so hard to do. She's got to keep up with her speed. She's got to keep up with her change of direction.
Ball kicked ahead of an Amelia Heisler ground ball. Peters ducks through, and then the Dutch defended well. Then the pass for Morris, looking for the sneak behind. And the Dutch could not save it, as that appeared like it was Morsinghoff to try to play it between her legs to try to save. So Morris and the Irish with a reset. Goals by Kerr and Anderson have started things. As we're about to hit the 3-minute mark of the opening quarter, Anderson the cut. Berenson reached out. She deflects it wide. Another save for Frida. And the ball is behind those boards, so someone has to go get it. With all the shots that have missed, the stream of lacrosse balls is not there. 15-minute continuous clock in every quarter, same as it is in group play, stopping only on water breaks, coaches call timeouts, and in the final 30 seconds on any whistle. A foul against Ireland as Netherlands came up with it. And a false start against the Dutch. We've seen this call a good number of times, and it may take another cycle for the players to be used to it. Anderson.
And that's something that, as players, this is their lacrosse IQ. If they don't know, especially if it's not an 8-meter, and we saw it happen in the Germany-Scotland game, a loss of an 8-meter for Germany because they weren't prepared for the whistle to blow, you just have a conversation with the official.
Anderson, she's got Riley. And the pass just a touch too far ahead. Out came Berenson to try to push the ball out, and it's going to be recovered here by the Dutch. Dangerous pass, and Berenson almost had Morris ready there to poach. Final 2 minutes. Morris did poach. And that would have been a layup on Berenson. And the Irish coaching staff got a good look at that. So here comes Morsinghoff.
90 seconds remaining. First quarter, 90 seconds.
For the final 1:30. The Dutch a series of quality chances, but they trail 2-0 in this 7th place game. 5th place went to Scotland, who defeated Germany earlier in a lopsided score. Ground ball And collecting it off the defensive end here to Althouse. Althouse will retreat back to defense. Then the pass in front. And a goal for Kimberly Feuerboom. 2-1.
You know, I think Ireland's getting a little bit ahead of themselves right now. They still need to take care of the ball. They need to maintain the vision of their own individual player. That was pretty much, they got so attracted to what was happening with the ball close to the sideline that one of them lost their player.
Number 11, Kimberly Feuerboom, with 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
That was a great check, Robin.
Feuerboom's 8th of the tournament.
Sterling! Let's go!
Ireland finished in 5th in the 2015 European Championships. And McKim bumping there with Hamming, and Hamming took the worst of it inadvertently. So ahead, here comes Kerr. As Kerr continues, Cleo native of Frederick, Maryland. We'll have free position coming up for Ireland. Under 30 seconds left. So here is Riley putting the ball down.
She's actually asking how much time is left because this has stung them in the past.
Especially yesterday. Riley shoots and Berenson slides over off stick side. Lucy Poulin has it. Maybe still some time. Riley's shot would not have counted. 2-1. Speed. The story for Ireland. Kerr and Anderson blazing from the middle of the field to get goals. Feuerboom, a late answer. 2-1 Ireland over the Dutch in the 7th place game. Second quarter draw control. Noni Anderson. Another pickup. Can you tell the difference between yesterday and today for Noni?
I mean, I think the day of maybe not fully sprinting in full Noni fashion. This probably helped out her lower body injury. She's got that spunk and that swagger back.
Riley. Anderson, run the two-man game. Kerr cutting to the crease. Maggie Egan. Egan the rollback. Tio has that matchup. I wonder if we would see Tio defending Anderson at some point.
That's probably a really good matchup.
Yeah, that's foot speed, the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing about Noni is you can't let her separate. She gets space and can build momentum into the defender, and she makes the right move. Remember, she's still trying to learn the offense, and by offense, just being an attacker, that mental aspect of being an attacker.
Noni accelerates and then continues. Save made Berenson. Then the rebound kicked around. Follow-up shot, Kerr! Cleo Kerr sticks it where the goaltender was not. Second for Cleo.
That's a great finish, and you can see the space that she creates. She backs up and then drives right into that defender, and the speed is just phenomenal.
Kerr goes to the top shelf. Terrific draw controller too. Nearly 6 draw controls a game for Robert Morris. So a young player that Ireland can have for the next cycle. And Anderson created that with that 20-yard sprint. Van Dilkt forced it forward. Mika Denbacher couldn't get to it. Hold at the restraining line is against. Take your pick. There are 2 players down, and they both, I didn't get a signal yet. And it's Noni Anderson that is shaken up.
It seems like she was just rolled on.
And this appears to be her right ankle. The officials do stop the clock, and now she realizes, you know what, let's give her a minute. If there is an injury, you need to exit. And I don't know if it is, but if it's the final time we see Noni Anderson here in Netanya, bravo.
Yeah, amazing. And it's Ireland's ball because she had so much speed to catch up to the Netherlands player who was going after the ball, and she got her stick underneath of the ball.
Failed clear, so Spitzen, the pickup for the Netherlands. Running ahead, Denbacher. Hanek looking to the front. Denbacher, Spitzen, and Van Dilkt now the midfield for the Netherlands. And this is a ball thrown away. So Poulin ahead. Still 12 minutes to go in this first half. And maybe we don't see Anderson for a while.
You know, this is where Poulin can become that other attacker for Ireland. If that's something that they need.
Peters splits to the left. Double team came hard. Good double coming from Yannicka Bokus.
Let's go defense!
Egan, good look, Peters. Denied, Berenson. The shot location wasn't quite there. Peters, though, is at a big tournament, and that's a ball off the stick of Bokus. What a throw there by Berenson. Egan runs into Prasad, and the ball is going to stay with Ireland.
Yeah, she has a really interesting clear, and it's just one of those things where she can just whip the ball, but her placement on the clear is absolutely crazy.
Egan restarts. Poulin up at the clear. So Ireland may have to play for another large stretch without Noni Anderson. She played some in the first half, really, let's say first quarter, before going back to full-time status almost, or 90% as Ward. Wave off the goal. She'll be going to free position. And it was so late, it was about a minute left against the Czech Republic. Rachel Ward. Save made, kicked out, Frida Berenson.
Frida's done a really good job of those low saves, and I know I've been hounding goalies all day about not being able to make the low saves, and I want our attackers to shoot low. But Ireland's doing a very good job of their shot placements, and Frida's making some really good saves.
Egan on the backside, looked for Peters. Empty head stick check, it's going the other way. The Dutch have it. 9.5 remaining. Mika Denbacher, as she is able to pull the stick back and around Poulin. 3-2. So Denbacher, a transition goal. Seventh of the tournament for Mika. And the Dutch, they were trying to push more transition against these better opponents. Against Germany, Israel, that was the goal, to use their depth. And they've shown flashes of it a little bit more in their Group B games, where they could just run thoroughbreds from their 8 midfielders.
Yeah, you can't compete with the higher level programs in Europe or world if you don't have a fast break offense. You have to be able to create out of that. And off of this draw, Noni Anderson is back in the game.
Well, that wasn't long. It's going to belong, though, to the Dutch, as Rihanna Ostwoud-Weidnes a carry. Ostwoud-Weidnes continues scoring. Ireland did not stop transition. 3 apiece.
And I would say the same thing about the Netherlands. When you can create out of transition, and the defenders, the Irish defenders, are only going to use their stick, if you can dodge through those sticks and maintain possession, get on the doorstep and slam the ball home, you have just as good as a chance as everybody else.
Ostwoud-Weidnes gets her first goal of the tournament.
Let's go, Cleo! Let's go, Cleo! We go, Ireland!
Kerr able to bat it into some open space for her. Kerr to deal it back. Egan. Shooting space. Maggie Egan. Egan, wind up. And that one well wide. I think not happy with that shot. Back up with Ireland. Good pace to this game. Clock stopping with 6:34 left before halftime. Tied at 3. The Dutch looking for 7th place. Would mean some real validation to the steps they're making under Coach Adam Gray. This is Egan, and the ball may have deflected on the way in. Hard to tell the way she kind of looped it, but Egan will get the goal, and it's 4-3.
It was almost like a super slow-mo as well shot.
Goal, Ireland, scored by number 7, Maggie Egan. With 6 minutes remaining in the first half.
Egan will get that to fall.
Now is Ireland 4.
Fifth of her tournament. We'll have to ask Rachel Ward on that spectacular goal she had a couple nights ago. Actually against the Czech Republic, where the ball appeared like it was intentionally flicked on.
Yeah. Almost like a field hockey. Like,
Sort of,
Like
yeah.
a redirection.
Yep, it really was. We'll be very busy tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
6 more games, the last 6 games. And storylines galore. Draw control, a tough battle on the far sideline. Imke Dahan has it. Third place games and first place games figure will get started at 5:30 and 7:30 local times.
Here we go, defense.
And then interesting games in the morning highlighted
5 minutes remaining in the first half.
by Latvia taking on Norway for the second time. That's for 9th place. As the Latvians pulling off a mild upset over Austria. Austria heartbroken this morning. They wanted a top 10 finish. They battled Germany just 2 days prior, stepping up against a Group A opponent. But then, based on the way the bracket goes, if you don't get one, you drop precipitously in a 16-team tournament. And then Sweden-Spain. Spain with a win will qualify for the World Championship in 2 years. Finland and Italy. We'll know the status of that game after Spain and Sweden. Then it could really mean something if Finland
Yes.
can pull off an upset against Italy and creates a 3-way tie. Morsenkopf had some ideas before pulling it back. And then Wales, Czech Republic. For third place, England versus Israel for the gold medal. To wrap it up.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day tomorrow. Lots of game changers potentially. Placement changers. Potentially a new European champion. Potentially a stable European champion in England.
Spitzen shoots, save made Frio. And Israel will get to be the host country to take on England. So I would imagine there will be a lot of people that make plans to make the game. So in addition to all the other teams that are still going to be here. So I think there's a chance it's going to be very much standing room only.
Agree.
Except for us.
Yes, we're-
because our seats are assigned.
Definitely.
Go, Maggie.
Seems like the clock is going out now.
Egan down to Peters. Again, good defense by the Dutch as they chase her off her spot. Louise Copens, I think, made the play. And Ty Berenson, the stop made on Kerr.
That was like a punch stop.
Carrie
Right
Ullman.
back out.
Ullman back for Morris. Ireland leading 4-3. Peters again, and Berenson with her second interception. That was a little bit more of a flip pass, and Frida Berenson is locked in.
Yeah, and now we have 2 interceptions by a goalie in the same game.
That
This
ties
is-
a tournament high.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that Caroline Peters knows is, and Frida's coming out to take away the option from Caroline Peters on the long pass. Whew.
Only earlier today, Norway's Kina Odegaard came up with 2 interceptions. Although Swiss head coach Julie Duffy doesn't want one of them counted because
Yes.
it was a little too close to the crease, but nevertheless.
Yeah. Look outside the lane that you're staring in, Coach Duffy said. Use that peripheral vision.
both here for Berenson are legitimate.
Yes.
1 minute remaining in the first half.
Feet across, Peters, and denied up high. The Dutch looking for a stand at the end of the first half. 45 seconds and counting. Clock will stop with under 30 seconds on any whistle. Egan winds it up. Berenson didn't see it, and the ball finds her on the ricochet.
I mean, 5 saves so far in this quarter, and they're not just saves, they are point blank stuffs.
Van Dilkt. The Dutch over the top. Chance to turn and shoot, and there's a goal netted. Alina Oskam.
That's a big one going into halftime. That's a big one. Especially with the amount of chances that Ireland had on offense that they couldn't finish.
Oskam, who has one of the 2 players that has U.S. experience on this team, attended high school there. That's where she learned lacrosse, and then moving back to the Netherlands and starting the sport, the Alphen Eagles, and the club team where she was the coach and originator. Oskam gets her 5th. Ward, still some time. Ward. Berenson making one more save. Entertaining in the first half. The Dutch and the Irish even at 4. We'll be back in a shorter halftime, 10 minutes to bring you the third quarter between these two teams as they battle for 7th place at the 2019 Women's European Lacrosse Championship. Tied at 4, entertaining finish to the third quarter as Alina Oskam tied the score for the Dutch. With a late goal, both teams had chances. The winner of this game captures 7th place. Then they have the luxury of the day off tomorrow throughout the entirety of the day. And they get to watch all the games that play, but on the flip side of that, it costs them maybe a day off during the event. For example, Ireland, they had to play their first 5 days before they got the day off.
Yeah, it's been an interesting shakeout of all these teams. I think Spain was the only team that played 7 days in a row.
Yep.
And I believe all of the games except for maybe one were in the high heat.
Yep. And the latest Spain played, I think, 5:20s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're still at least warming up in the daytime. So when we speak to Georgie Hurt tomorrow, she will tell us exactly what kind of shape her team is in. Here's Lucy Poulin. And mentioning Scotland earlier, they took the bus over with Ireland. It was a nice party, actually. They had karaoke on the bus ride over. There is Morris. Morris wiped out. It'll be free position. And perhaps a little extra. No card coming out. But Ireland shared the bus ride over with Scotland today. And Kaki Helmer, who's been around Scotland for the last 10 days, got a really good feel for their personality, and she just knew that Scotland was going to play great. They were so loose. They were having a lot of fun today compared to the first meeting against Ireland, where Scotland was not like that. And today her team was singing karaoke. It's about I think it's a 20-minute bus ride. It's a long, yeah, they're the furthest hotel away from here, maybe closer to 15 minutes. Here is Morris shooting, and Morris starts the scoring at 5-4. But Helmer even went ahead with some karaoke on the bus ride too.
You know, it's interesting. We talked about Scotland, and you can go back and watch that Scotland-Germany game, and I want to put that Scotland team back into the pool play games and have them play like that every single game and see what type of difference we get coming out of pool play based on that schedule or those performances, because it's a completely different Scottish team that we see today than we saw game 1, game 2.
And as I said to Kaki Helmer, it's as if Scotland just played their non-conference portion of the schedule, and now they're ready for their league. Or they played several friendlies. Or for a soccer term, now they're out of the UEFA Cup, and now they're back into the Premier League play, as this is a ball thrown away by England, so the Dutch ride having an impact. 3 minutes gone, third quarter. Robin Morris has scored off a free position for Ireland. Prasad, and the pass sailed behind her. She was cutting towards goal, but Louise Koopmans threw it wide of her. So Egan in her own end for Delaney Friel. Fun interacting this week with Delaney's parents, who are both here.
Yep. Delaney's mom is one of the managers for this Ireland team.
So Egan ahead, and look who's back on the field. So Noni Anderson, after an ankle sprain of some kind, walking around gingerly, and we'll see what that looks like in another 10 minutes.
I think they have her in at low attack right now.
I think you're right. Peters from the wing. Peters got it all the way. Protected the stick. Caroline Peters makes it 6-4 Ireland as she darts in for her team-leading 15th.
So right before half, Hillary Bowen pulled Caroline Peters out to have probably a one-on-one offensive conversation with her. And I think that's probably something that Caroline really needed to get her head back. Her stick is going, everything is going well. And I think she needs that finish sometimes to get herself going.
And Steffi, you were right. Noni Anderson is on attack now for Ireland, so it's a chance to keep her on the field, maybe limit some of her running and see what she feels like in another little while. The Dutch get the draw with Uscombe following the foul in the circle. And the Dutch need to find a way to generate some offense in the 6-on-6. Switch to Landis Weierborg, firing again low. Forced to her left hand. And Lucy Poulin has put the clamps on her. Spitzen. And Heisler called for the foul. Spitzen was shown she has remarkable potential. As Adam Grace talked about her this week, she's got 9 goals, but waiting for her to put it all together. Physically has all the tools, and they have to go find another cross ball. They've been flying all the way around. They're going to be finding lacrosse balls in those corners in January. Bocas, and she took a hit from Egan. So Bocas off the pickup outside, and that was a unique move there. You've talked about that, Steffi, placing the ball on the 8-meter when you're ready. No backup there, but clever move from Yannicka Bocas.
I actually found that quite enjoyable. The speed coming out of that.
It's like she was the only one going for a ground ball. Everybody else was on pause. Riley in for Anderson, so now in as a lefty attack. Peters, cut, Riley.
Almost snuck that one in there. Erin Riley.
Anderson, and Egan is able to save it. Nicola Kiley will make the play behind for Ireland on the save. Egan, though, dropped this pass inside, and here out of traffic comes Hirta Oldhus for the Dutch. Hirta. The Dutch back to work offensively. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. 6-4 Ireland.
We're actually seeing really good speed from both teams. I'm so surprised with this just after 10 p.m. start.
In tight Spitzen. And stop is made by Delaney Friel. Well, for the Netherlands, I mean, their pregame routine today consisted of, among other things, watching old episodes of Temptation Island.
Ooh.
Dutch style, 2003.
Dutch style.
Yeah, that's where the show, I believe one of the countries that the show originated in. It's new in the U.S. in terms of the formats, I think, recently. I don't follow that kind of reality TV. I thought you were beyond that.
No,
Maybe not.
I don't know what that is.
So
I've
we don't
never
have
heard
an
of that.
expert here. So here's the shot. This is wide.
I don't think we need an expert here for that one.
Den Bakker the shot, but Temptation Island,
Interesting. Okay.
that's what the Dutch primarily did. Morris, Feuerboom hunted her down. Ireland has gotten 2 goals off a free position in the third quarter. Kylie and Frida Berenson, who remains in there for this third quarter, challenging the shot. Peters, the look, and it's over the head of Kerr.
Great backup, ladies.
Ward face dodge, quick shot! Maybe threw off the timing there. Ward took 2 power steps, 7-4.
You know, the switch of the hands and Ward shooting with that lefty after the split dodge.
Timeout called by the Netherlands. Coach Adam Gray will regroup. 7-4 Ireland. Lucy Poulin has the draw control out of the Dutch timeout. 4.5 to go, third quarter. Poulin. We're going to name our top 3 tournament teams tomorrow, as well as other superlatives. Steffi and Lucy Poulin, I think, is going to be brought up in discussion.
Oh, heavily.
As a low defender, so.
Heavily
right?
brought up in discussion.
So each team is going to have 3 attack, 3 midfield, 3 D, and a goalie. So clearly she's among the top 9 Ds. So we'll sort through that and do that during the breaks of the gold medal game and honor all those players that perhaps didn't make it deep into the top of the European pecking order, but still deserve the individual accolades for all the work that they've done individually and building their countries.
And we have some superlative awards for the amount of fun we've had and the consistent things that have come up throughout the past 10 days. We have clearly the goalie duo award. We haven't actually given that the name, but that's one of them.
Yeah, it'll be very...
Go, 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 go! Go, 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 go!
A foul in Zwitserland's Viborg. She'll have a look here in free position. That would be one that the Dutch would like. But it's actually a foul off ball against the Netherlands. So they were trying to screen down for Hamik, I believe. So Peters to check back for possession. And then she stripped. Kicks it along, though, nicely. Well, I think they called it intentional kick there.
I wish I could say I saw what that was.
Feuerboom will be inside the 8-meter. Final 2 minutes of the third. Feuerboom, and the Dutch needed that. 7-5, Feuerboom has her second of the night.
So we've got about a minute and a half left in this third quarter. Ireland is turning the ball over themselves, actually. And the Dutch just haven't made them pay for that. Do we see Noni Anderson again, potentially? Can Ireland finish this one out?
Here we go, Ireland. Let's go, you girls in green.
Anderson is still standing underneath the Ireland tent, and perhaps it may be on a need to have her basis. And right now it's 7-5. Ward, Egan, Riley, and Kerr doing the job. 45 seconds. Clock will only stop in the last 30 seconds. Poulin will get a midfield run. Poulin forced back. Kylie.
30 seconds remaining in a quarter. 30 seconds remaining.
Kylie. It skipped all the way across, and that time Berenson was challenging there as an extra defender. Ward, and the foul there, a little too handsy, was Den Bakker.
I think the biggest difference when the Netherlands extends their defense out, Ireland's running around them instead of attacking directly at the defender.
Well, Ward, again, second goal that she has had where just a couple of steps in a rip got the job done. 8-5.
And that's a rifle by Ward. One step off that 8-meter.
3 free position goals in the third quarter for Ireland. We should have 10 seconds remaining. Morris, Peters, and now Ward. 8-5 as the battle continues for 7th place. Congratulations to Scotland. They earned 5th earlier tonight. And Coach Dave Simpson's swan song before he heads to coach New Zealand for the next cycle. Ireland leads by 3 as we go to the 4th. We're back for the final quarter of the night from the Tanya. fourth quarter starts. Here's Erin Riley. And she face dodged through but did not pull the trigger. Poulin will stay on to play some midfield and rolls back. Lucy Poulin will get a good look. So Ireland's bench a bit shorter, but Poulin has given Coach Kaki Helmer some flexibility in this tournament. Just the occasional midfield run. You need that with only 18-player rosters. That's perhaps sometimes the forgotten thing.
Yeah, sometimes you have to play positions that you don't want to play.
Or at other levels, you're so locked into a spot because the rosters are so much deeper. But you go back to high school where you can pretty much play all over. Peters. And Peters' couple of fakes earns her a free position.
That's a good job of that pump fake that Peters does so well.
Go, CT, move her. Move her.
And Peters is smothered.
Nice defense. Clear catch. Go, CT, move her.
The third quarter was really good to Ireland on free position. Peters, first look in the fourth, and it stays that way. There's plenty of water in that well. 9-5.
And that's our fourth free position in the second half for Ireland. So, big changes there. They can't score without getting on the 8-meter. So if you're the Netherlands, you have to be very aware of that. Take that option away from them. You know, I would think that a very heavy pressure man-to-man would probably be very something. They did that in the first quarter against Ireland and caused some issues. Go back to that.
Oh, you Rachel, all day.
The Dutch are now going to warm up Amaris Brandsma. Their other goalie, here is Kylie, off the draw control. It's going to be Ireland's ball. Yeah, Brandsma just put her helmet on and is going to start warming up. And Dutch coach Adam Gray perhaps trying to find one more changeup he can throw. And free positions is probably the source of that worry.
And that's big.
Because Berenson, otherwise, besides these free positions, had a great first half.
Yeah, it's without those three positions, the score is tied 5-5.
And 2 interceptions outside of cage.
Not to talk about those 5 saves she had in the third quarter. In the second quarter.
Poulin. Ireland will take this. Lucy Poulin held the stick up high and finished. And there will be a goaltending change as Brandsma comes in after the goal. 10-5 Ireland.
5 free positions in the second half for Ireland.
Ireland scored by number 5, Lucy Poulin, with 10 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
Here we go, Ireland.
Scores Ireland
10-5, it was going so well
Hey, let's go, Miguel.
for Berenson, and this is it for her. She overall had a strong tournament. Lucy Poulin the goal, going into her junior year
Run, goes the
at
lead.
UMass, Western Massachusetts in the States. And the draw controls, again, now swinging to Ireland's favor.
10 minutes
Ward to Peters, and perhaps the Irish can swing the ball around a couple of times.
Go, Orange! Let's go, Orange! Let's go, defense! Let's do this defense!
Losing the stick momentarily was Poulin.
That happens every so often to defenders.
Yes! Yes, over here!
Brandsma is up with it. The goal for Poulin is her second of the tournament. And this is a pass that I think wasn't seen by Dahan. Flip further along, Kerr.
Good
Kerr was
box out.
squeezed by a couple of defenders before the pickup is made by the Dutch and Dahan. And right now, both teams struggling to settle it.
Struggling to get the ground ball.
Morsinghoff away from Spitzen. Poulin again. Morris with 8.5 to go. The Dutch are able to turn over Robin Morris. But they haven't had a settled possession in a long time, since, it's really say, midway through the third quarter. They got a free position goal from Feuerboom, as here's a walk-in for Van Hoor.
Just under 8 minutes to go. The Netherlands need to get moving.
They'll sub through the box. Spitzen. And the cut was read well by Kerr. And then Spitzen ran through Kerr. Good call.
Again, it's a really good show of just having your stick in the right place defensively.
That was a quick foul.
Oh.
Kerr ahead. Egan streaks forward. Peters brings it down.
Substitution for Ireland.
Ireland will bring in their backup goalie. Here to close this one out, Rebecca Maloney. And the way the Irish have possessed, it may not matter who's there. A flag out against the Dutch. Ullman had to recover it. Teo quickly on her. The Dutch have not been able to turn over the Irish much of the second half. Riley on the cut and clangs it down low around Brandsma.
Okay, that quick stick fake by Caroline Peters, getting Riley's defender to bite and look at her so Riley can take off back door. Whew. That's pretty. That is pretty.
11-5, back comes Frida Berenson. So Brandsma will exit, and perhaps this is the swan song for the Dutch. 5.5 left and counting, trailing by 6. Berenson, who is said to speak 8 different languages to some extent, has been the more veteran goalie. Brandsma still learning. This is her first tournament. But they're growing up as a swimmer, so she is more of a developmental player. Berenson has played lacrosse, club tournaments all over, spent some time living in Italy and Germany. 5 minutes left. and perhaps most satisfying for Ireland is going to be they got this second half almost exclusively without Noni Anderson's presence on the field. But as they spread the field and begin to play keep away, a lot of the Irish players talking about already 2021. They really enjoyed their time together, mixing players that are US based and players such as Morris and Kylie, Noreen Cassidy, and some others that are homegrown from Ireland. Ullman shoots wide. They've had such a great time bonding together. Real talent on the way in the Irish pipeline. Ailish Kelly, who is going to be at the U19s for Ireland, one of their better players. She had a scheduling conflict. She is going to be a freshman at Stanford, a very highly rated player. And Kelly probably could have made this team. Kaki Helmer, I think, went as far as to say she would have been selected. And at the age of 18, she just graduated high school. She would have been a big impact player. So look out for her at the U19s in Peterborough as that tournament gets started August 1st through the 10th.
Well, that will be a fun addition to this team.
Peters cuts it across, adds a bouncer. Peters with her second of the game, 12-5.
And that's the 6th free position of this half for Ireland. I mean, at least they're finishing on their free positions in the second half from an Ireland standpoint.
Yeah, Ireland did not have a goal off of free position in the first half. So radical changes. We're about to hit 2 minutes. 12-5. So Ireland will be the 7th place team. They finished in 5th in 2015. Teo, chance to sprint one more time. Here she comes, a Maloney. 100-meter track runner, and Teo does not shoot. Oh, boy. With under 2 minutes left, Micah Teo elected not to. Ward does. Perhaps in a lighter moment tomorrow, the Dutch team will mention your lacrosse player first, defender second.
Exactly.
Well, it's fun to watch Teo run
Yes.
and see what she can do to finish it off. Feuerbroom for Van Dilkt. 12-6. Van Dilkt was called the unsung hero of this team, said Adam Gray, with his most improved player being Louise Koopmans. That Koopmans has only been playing for 3 years, but she's got the physical tools, the body. She's in her early 20s. Some real building blocks that he's excited about in his first year as head coach. 30 seconds left. Ireland got a lot from Deidre McKim, who was on the World Championship team in 2017, essentially their 5th defender. But started on low D and was very good. Koopmans on cue will pick up a free position.
Here we go, Becky. Let's go, Becky.
And Kopins tried to squeeze through. That'll clear the lane for her against Maloney.
Go, Becky!
Kopins, nice check from Poulin. The fourth official is on the field. Prasad backs it up and scores. 12-7. And regardless, with this game being in the bag, these Dutch players just showing they're still playing with passion.
And they should this entire time. They've had one of the most steady tournaments of all the teams here.
Scored by number 5, Bellamy Pearson.
Prasad's fourth of the tournament. 10 seconds remaining before we go into Championship Thursday, which will begin at 8 a.m. Switzerland will take on Austria for 11th place, followed by Latvia and Norway for 9th. That'll go down at 10:20. Ball out of reach, that's it. 12-7, Ireland takes 7th place and conclude a successful run. They navigated through some turbulence and show that they can threaten the top of Group A. And a lot of young talent got their feet wet in an international competition.
Yeah, they did a really good job of leaving everything on the field, and I'm proud of the Netherlands for the fight. They've showed it, probably one of the best teams that has been the most consistent team throughout this entire event. And then Ireland, you know, they have a game changer in Noni Anderson. It was great to see Caroline Peters really step up today and bear the brunt of the offensive load for this Irish team, especially in the second half. And with their youth going into the World Cup in 2 years, you know, they could be a team that vies for the bronze, give or take 1 or 2 players.
Yeah, it'll be really close, and how teams will be able to stack their rosters, such as Ireland, will be fascinating, particularly with the tournament taking place in the United States, and how selective they'll be able to be for 2021. Well played by Ireland as they finished the tournament at 3-5. The Dutch 4-3. Peters with 2, Ward with 2, Cleo Kerr with 2. That's a finish tonight from the Tanya. 12-7, Ireland over the Netherlands to capture 7th place. We'll speak to you bright and early tomorrow at 8 a.m.